y'all. Welcome to this episode of Ducking Reality. In the pond with me today is my very good friend, Chris. Chris and I met through the Banya, which I've referenced on here a lot. So welcome to the pond, Chris.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Cheers, first of all.
Cheers.
And welcome to my house.
Thank you. Very nice place.
Thank you. It's nice to have you here. So we met, did we meet before the first tour or during the first tour? I think it was during the second tour for me.
No, I didn't go on the first tour.
Right.
So, but I think I met you before the second tour.
Yeah, probably just in the sauna.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you have been going since it opened. I have an article that you wrote the year the Banya opened, but you had a crazy little run-in with Misha before that.
Yes, that's true.
So Misha is the owner of the Banya, of the Archimedes Banya. So just first of all, how did you even because as Americans, I'm interested now in how people get into the Banya or bathing and then all of that. So how did you kind of come into finding that kind of culture and style?
Okay. So when I was in college up in Humboldt County, the best places if you wanted to sunbathe were actually nude beaches.
Ah.
And so I just eventually became a fan of the nude beach there. There's actually a couple. And then, moved around and I was always a fan of naturist beaches. And fortunately, I live in Marin County, which is convenient to a couple, which I still go to. As a matter of fact, when you invited me on to this podcast, I was at one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And just had enough signal to be able to do the text conversation.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that about those beaches.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're remote.
They're remote. And this one that I went to, which is, I think, the nicest in probably the Bay Area, is called Red Rock Beach.
Okay.
And it's a good 10-minute hike down the cliff. And right now, because it's the end of the winter, the path is in such good shape.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, I became a fan and then knew of this place in Fairfax called Frogs. And it turned out, so I went there on a Sunday and there was a group of Russians who would sort of take over the place on Sundays.
Was it the first time you'd gone to Frogs? Was it just happened to be a Sunday also?
I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think. I think
it's a long time ago
been
now.
There is a long time ago. This place had been there since, I really think, since the 70s, and unfortunately just closed.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
I was going to say I haven't been, but now since I've heard about it so much over the last few years, I wanted to go check it out.
Yeah. I think it was an old school. It's called School Street Plaza that they're on.
Okay.
And it's like one of the few.
Sorry. I was distracted. I'm like, what is that? I keep hearing that before an earthquake, you'll hear a low rumbling.
Oh.
So every once in a while when I hear something like that, I'm like, is this it? Is this my first one?
Yeah. Oh.
Sorry.
So anyways, what happened with Frogs, that school site has been identified as a place for new housing.
Oh, okay.
So there's a plan to
knock that down,
build housing there, and try to help out in California's housing crisis. So
yeah, we have a lot of that.
Yeah. So anyways, I did see him there and the Russian group, and actually I remember we were in the sauna and he said, well, someday I'm going to build a banya in San Francisco. And I just had learned the word because I was actually reading a book about bathing traditions around the world. And so I just thought, well, I'll probably never see this. This ain't going to happen. And but then I don't know if I really ever ran into them. I think I did, but I don't know if we didn't really become good friends or anything at that point. And then I saw in the newspaper that I worked for, the San Francisco Chronicle, on the New Year's Day, 2012 was when the article came out, saying that the Banya had been opened the day before. And I thought, and actually, it didn't identify that it had been opened at that point because this was a Sunday article, I think. Anyways, it was just saying that it was opening up.
Yeah.
And so I thought of that guy in the sauna all those years before. And I thought, could this really be the same guy?
Right.
And so then I went to their website and kind of put two and two together, and sure enough, it was.
Yeah.
And not only was he just not BSing, saying that, I'm going to build one in San Francisco someday. He said, all I need is an investor. He had actually bought the land several years before.
Yes.
And that they actually had been working on it, and he was trying to indeed get an investor. So it was definitely a more concrete notion than what I was thinking of at that point.
Right.
So that's how I had ended up in Frogs. A month after the place opened in San Francisco, I went to it for the first time, and I've been a regular since.
Yeah. And there's Sundays, the Russians still take over.
The Russians still take over on Sundays.
Yes.
And sometimes other times during the week.
Yes. But we're lucky enough that we got invited to the table in kind of best laid terms.
Yeah. And then, well, I really wanted this place to succeed because I thought it was a great idea. And I had actually gone to Harbin Hot Springs up in Lake County, and I was thinking, well, it would be nice to have a kind of a closer version of that place.
Right.
In some ways, this is a closer version, and in other ways, it's definitely not.
Right.
It's definitely a different vibe.
Yes.
And definitely a more social atmosphere. And so I offered to write an article about it for a naturist magazine. And this is, a magazine that's affiliated with a family-friendly nudist organization. So he agreed to be interviewed by me, and I wrote the article, and he thought that was great. So as a result of that article in particular, I think we've been good friends since.
Yeah. Well, it shows like not only your support of his business, but in support of him too, because he is the passion behind that business.
He is very much the passion, and he is the vision, and he is the reason why the Banya is there. And there still isn't anything quite like it in really anywhere, I think. I mean, certainly in the United States. I mean, there are places that are like it, and more often in Europe, in Central Europe, but it's a unique spot, and I don't use that word lightly. When I was in journalism school, I had a professor who hated that word unique because indeed unique means one of a kind.
Right.
And unless it's one of a kind, then it's not unique. something cannot be more unique
Right.
than something else. So, but the banya is unique.
It is. It is. And I think it make a bunch of unique people make it up.
Yeah.
And I think
helps,
I think that the cast of characters that kind of hang out there and have thrived in that place also make it kind of unique. Because they do keep the vibe very different from Harbin or from like a traditional spa because it's clothing optional. Well, and I don't want to do it like an ad for the banya, although that's my job.
Yeah.
I am. The naturalist thing, I was reading your article the other day, just refreshing my memory on what you had written.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have realized that naturalist meant nudist.
Okay, so I need to correct you here.
Okay,
The
good.
word is naturist.
Nature. Oh, okay.
Naturalist is like a ranger, a park ranger.
Right. Yeah, that's right. My brain kept
Yes.
going.
The word naturist is, yes, a nudist, but indeed is supposed to go beyond being a nudist in that you also have respect for the nature and for the environment. And so in naturist / nudist circles, there's often a debate as to the difference between the two words.
Right.
Some people use them interchangeably, and most of the time they say that's fine. But indeed, there is another podcast that is sort of like the one that is followed in the naturist community called the Naturist Living Podcast.
Okay.
And if you've never heard it, I actually would recommend it. His name is Stefan Deshane. He owns a naturist resort in the Toronto area.
Okay.
And and he describes what a naturist is.
Okay.
And at the opening for their podcast, they talk about, what a naturist is. So indeed, it's a term you hear it more, naturist, more in Europe.
Okay.
In U.S., they do say nudist more.
Right.
And then a naturalist is the guy out in the park.
Right. Park rangers.
Park ranger.
Yeah, because I don't think I realized that. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't think I thought about it before, like that nudists or naturist would go to the banya just to be naked.
Yeah.
Because it's
not
when
so
you-
much a place as there to be. That isn't its reason for being.
right, but it also is the reason for being. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like it's,
Yeah.
Misha wanted a place where you could be nude outside.
Yeah.
Like that's in your article. It's something that we've talked about before.
Mhm.
When the first time I went to the banya, my cousin brought me the first week I moved to California. I had just finished, 5 days in the car driving out here, and she's like, I was telling her about a spa I stopped at in Vegas, and she's like, I have the perfect spot for you.
Okay.
So we were out at a meeting, and then we stopped at Target to buy bathing suits,
Okay.
and so we got there, and they give you the spiel at the front desk, and she kind of had been there, so she knew who now I know is Jesus.
Right.
Or Jesus, as we like to call him. So, he kind of checked us in, and we got changed, and I went to walk out of the women's room, and it's right by the cold plunge, and there's 4 gentlemen standing on the stairs in full, dicks out right there, and right at my eye level. And I opened the door, and I walked back in, and I was like, what are we doing? And then I was like, why did we stop for bathing suits? Also, I would not back then have gone naked.
Sure.
For the first year I went, I probably didn't. I probably kept my bathing suit on. And then slowly, as I got more comfortable in my own skin, and then when we went to Europe on the first tour,
Okay.
a lot of the places that you go in Europe are textile free.
Yeah. And it's not even they're not even clothing optional.
Right.
They are.
It's not an option.
Yeah, it's not an option. They are nudity required.
Yes. Yeah. Textile free. And then when I was looking into why they're textile free, and that was it was more about protecting the water and
hygiene.
Yeah.
And not bringing, the bacteria can harbor in bathing suits.
right.
And so at least in Germany, as you know, in Central Europe, the saunas in general are nudity required, and they are actually co-ed,
Right.
nudity required, which is as opposed to the banya, which is co-ed clothing optional.
Right.
So, so anyways, I went there kind of for that reason, because that's how I came into it. But
Right.
it's also a place that's definitely brought me out of my shell, and because it's a social place. So there's many more reasons why I go besides a place where you can hang out naked.
Yeah. But I like that it aligns with that too, because I think it helps with someone's like body positivity. It helps you become comfortable in your skin. You're around people that are comfortable at different kind of levels of undress. You know, some women are in bottoms, some people are in, you know, guys will be in tiny like bungee smugglers, and you know, there's like all kinds of comfort levels. Or there's people that are naked but they never remove their towel, you know, and it's never about a judgment of what you're supposed to be. It's just about, I think the thing that I fell in love with Banya about is it's all about your time in the sauna. It's all about how you do it, listening to your body, finding what works for you. And then, and everybody there is like, go do your thing. And then we'll catch up at the table when we catch up, or we'll catch up in the sauna, or there is like a very community base of it, but it's very individualistic too.
So anyways, that article was kind of what got me invited to the table, I think.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned tables, that's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people are pretty open about, you know, you're here, come on over.
Right.
Have a little to eat and drink.
Yeah. It's a very welcoming community. How were you always a naturist?
Well, so a long time, since I'm definitely up there in years now, but I went to college at what was called Humboldt State at that time, and indeed, that's how I got into it, was going to the beaches there. And I didn't really know of it before then, but and actually what happened was I was in called a suite at I had transferred to Humboldt as a junior. I went to junior college here in the Bay Area for a couple of years, and then I was in a suite with I think about eight other guys, something like that.
Right.
And they would be going out. Oh, hey, you want to go out to College Cove? And it was a nudist beach, and they're probably wanting to see naked ladies.
Yeah.
You know?
It's usually how it starts.
Yeah. And I wouldn't go because I was actually working on the newspaper staff, and I was often busy on the weekends, or I had studying that to do, or so I wouldn't go. And one day I was just at a little coffee shop alone, and maybe not, you know, maybe a little depressed or something. And I thought, well, you know, I should go out there. So I went out there by myself. You know, I loved it because it's such a beautiful beach, for one thing.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful beach. If you know it, it's called College Cove. It's part of Trinidad State Beach.
Okay.
And so that's about 20 miles north of Arcata.
Oh, wow. It's up there.
Yeah. So it's north of Eureka. So it's really Northern California. Well, we're here in the Bay Area. That's not really Northern California. It really should be called Central California.
It should.
Yeah.
And there should be a disclaimer when you move out here that the weather is going to be really wild.
Yeah. So then, but here I am on the coast, and so I would go off and on, whenever I can find a day off or nice day or something like that. And that's what got me into that. And so that's been more than 40 years now. So.
Do you think that helped to pull you out of your shell and your depression a little bit there too, or just?
Yeah, maybe. I just found I liked the place. I mean, and maybe what got me out of my shell. I ended up being very busy with since I had already been the editor of my junior college paper. They managed to find a lot of work for me at the college paper up there, and then I became editor there, and I had other editor jobs previous, so I was pretty much always busy, and ended up staying an extra year because I somehow kind of persuaded myself that, well, being the editor is going to be basically a full-time job. And so I ended up going to the minimum number of units to stay a full-time student. But I was not I didn't have enough time to do it to finish my schooling while I was there. So while I was being editor. So then I ended up ended up being the 5-year plan as a result.
But that's so much experience that you gained, and years of another year of experience before you went out into the real world.
Right. And actually, I got my first job through the connection there, in that I had a friend who was working as a part-time sports writer / editor at the local daily in Eureka. And he was going to leave, I believe, to go join his girlfriend in New York. And so that job came open. And so I just fell into it.
Oh, nice.
And then within a few months became full-time, and ended up staying at that paper for a couple years. And then I ended up following. My friend had come back. He worked for the paper in Fairfield. He offered me a job there. So that got me back down to the Bay Area. And then a couple years later, I had actually already had applied for the paper in Marin. One reason being is that that's where nice beaches are.
Smart.
That's why I applied. And when I first applied, I didn't get a job. But then a couple of years later, or actually just a year later, they said, well, you still interested? And so I took a job in Marin, stayed there for 12 years, had friends of mine who had worked in Marin who were at the San Francisco Chronicle. And he said, well, they're expanding there. They're adding zones, we're adding a 5th zone, which means it was at that time they had kind of different versions of their metro section for depending on where the newspaper circulated. So there was sort of a East Bay zone, a North Bay zone, a Peninsula zone, South Bay, and West Bay, San Francisco. And so they needed copy editors because they were expanding. Well, industry has since contracted quite a bit. They no longer publish zoned editions. But I said, yeah, okay, I'll try there. So then I was there for 24 years and just left.
What were like the main articles? Like, what were you always a copy editor? Or were you
Almost. Almost. In Eureka, I was a reporter for a year.
Okay.
I covered cops and courts, which was actually it was actually a great job, and
that had to
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it has to be interesting and a little depressing.
A little, and the thing is that that area up there is actually a great news town.
Oh.
Probably the second best news town I ever worked at, besides San Francisco.
What makes a good news town?
Oh, well, just lots of interesting
Oh.
news events. So, of course, that time, it's still a very big area as far as environmental news, and the fishing and timber industries were kind of on their decline, but they were still big stories. And then, of course, everybody associates Humboldt County with marijuana. And at that time, they had big raids for big farming operations or whatever. And so those were always big stories. And then they just had some weird cases that I covered. What was it? Unfortunate case where there was a baby who was shaken to death.
Oh gosh.
Allegedly, and they were convicted by his parents. And I mean, the idea of just a small infant being killed in that way, and made for a really big story there.
I'm sure.
So I covered that trial and had stories, of course, every day in the paper that were well followed. And,
Right.
And then other murder cases, and so that. I mean, they're good stories. They're awful stories,
Right.
but they are
Good news stories.
They are good news only in that they're interesting stories for maybe in a way that you would prefer them not. You would definitely prefer them not to happen, but they do happen.
Right. What made you move from being a reporter to copy editor?
Well, then I got my friend offered me the job in Fairfield. So, but and it was a great job, and it got me back down here. And but I wouldn't have minded being a reporter for longer. It was the copy editing and what I ended up mostly doing is design. So page design. And that came naturally and easy to me. Writing is hard work.
It is hard work, yeah.
And I don't naturally do it quickly. There, when I was working on a deadline, I got it out in time. And particularly if you're doing your kind of standard crime story or whatever, those stories sort of write themselves. They follow a pattern.
Right.
You write in the traditional inverted pyramid order where you put the big, the nugget of the news right at the tip. That's called the lead, and then you expand upon it in the story in paragraphs further down. So that's why you end up with the inverted pyramid.
Okay.
Or I guess it is. Depending on how you look at it, I guess that could be a regular pyramid, but it's called inverted pyramid. So you build on, you have the tip, and then you build on that. So that's why it goes
Right.
up. But yeah, that's how I ended up back in copy editing, and I'm pretty good at style and grammar and things that work, and finding kind of holes in stories or problems with or the facts might not follow that need to be clarified. And actually, in this last 2 years, I went back to doing that, and so it's always good to when somebody says, "Oh, that's a nice catch."
Right.
Yeah, and I have a fair amount of those.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I imagine I'm only starting to really get ready to publish stuff and, write more. And I may have to tap you because we've talked about it before where my writing style is pretty good, but it's something that I haven't done professionally a lot of. I mean, I write social media posts and things like that,
Yeah,
but
and they're really good too.
thank you. But it's because it's something I fell in love with it,
Yeah.
you know, and we've talked about it a bunch of times now. And then
Mm-hmm.
when the first tour happened, to go and to get to experience Europe and to get to experience some of these places was just blew my mind.
Yeah. It's, no, that was definitely in the second tour because
You came on the second.
I came on the second, and now we're going on the third.
Yes, we leave in just over a month.
Yes,
We go to.
So we had a dinner and we're having toasts, and of course the founder, Misha, was there, and it was actually when we were on a boat in the Danube.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how could have I ever thought when I walked into that sauna in Fairfax all those years ago that as a result of my connection with Misha and the Banya, that I would be here on a boat in the Danube in relatively formal attire, seeing this beautiful sights. And so that was like that relationship has just kind of expanded my life as a result of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine too. Yeah, that was a beautiful, fun evening.
Mm-hmm.
We got to go to, that's when we did this. We did the extra banya that day too, didn't we?
I believe it was that day. Yeah.
What was that banya? It was.
So that was the one that had the
rooftop
hot tub on the roof.
Yes.
So you had a view of the Danube from the roof of the Banya.
And I missed it. I didn't get to get up there in time. It was closed by the time I went to go up.
Yeah, because they were about to close. So.
Yeah, we had gotten there kind of later in the day. And it was beautiful though. What was the name of that?
Yeah,
was a big one, but then
it was Ruda, something
Ruda,
like that.
yes,
Yeah. Something.
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we brought Christina and Phil when we went to one and we walked downstairs and it was a traditional Turkish bathroom. So it had like the big elephant eye ceiling and it was all the tubs and their face was just in awe, and I was like, this is why I want to do this.
Yeah. And
just to be able to spend time with people and to sweat with them, it makes your friendships on a different level. Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah, you don't really have pretenses when you're when you're naked in a sauna together.
Yeah. Well, there's the saying: there is no generals in a sauna. There are only people.
Right. Well, and the Finns, they have. I believe it's their embassy, and in other embassies, they have a sauna and they do diplomacy. And
there was just a big article about that. I think was it the Times?
I believe so, New York Times.
Yeah, about how they're creating more and more of that. Yeah. We have some of that going on here in the Bay, but it's mostly tech bros, which might carry a slightly different tone.
Yeah, that's true.
What was your favorite part of our tour that we went on? Because we went to, where did we go? We were in Berlin. No, we were in Munich.
Yeah.
Luxembourg.
So we actually started in Budapest.
Yes. Oh, Budapest, Vienna, and Munich.
Munich, yeah. And undoubtedly Termerding in Munich.
Yes.
Or outside of Munich. That is kind of described as the world's largest spa, and it's huge, and with like 3 different sections, like more of a family water park type section with slides and everything, and then I guess they call it Vitality Oasis, which not sure what the difference between that is and the part we were in, except that the part we were in, you could be naked.
Right.
In fact, you had to be naked.
Yes.
But I think it's sort of a similar area in case you wanted to wear a swimsuit.
Right.
And then the one that we spent, of course, I'm not certain about you, but at least me, I spent our entire time in what they call this sauna paradise.
Yes.
And that has I think it's either 24 or 28 different saunas.
Yeah.
And then, which I knew I expected and was looking forward to, but then I didn't realize that they have a huge resort style pool just in the sauna paradise section. That I didn't know that was going to happen either. But it was swim up bars.
Yep.
And part inside, part outside. But even the inside part kind of looks like you're outside because there's palm trees and such, and it's a clear ceiling, and there's hundreds of people in there.
Yeah.
And I had heard of this place. It's kind of the reason why I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was so happy to go there. And if I had probably worked out my airline arrangements better for this coming tour, I could have maybe made an extra stop there, but it's not going to work out.
That's a bummer. I'm actually trying to make sure I can do a stop there.
Mm-hmm.
I have been through Instagram watching two of the guys that we met there that were the Afghas masters or sauna masters. Mm-hmm. The two that they did the heavy metal.
Oh, okay.
They had done that, but one of them had also done in the Lemon Room.
Yeah, I did.
That one. That was the sing-along kind of music sauna session.
Yeah, that was the first one.
So just to explain it to people. So we go into this huge sauna that one was four stories?
Yeah.
There's four seating.
It's like stadium seating.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess, technically a single story, but there are levels of seating.
Right.
And at least four, if not more.
If not, there might have been six on one side. Because I think Yuri, Joy, and I ended up on the top for it. And I was worried about Joy because it was her first sauna round ever. She had never been to the saunas before, and she just jumped full all in. And I love her for that. And so we were kind of worried about her, but because I think his name is Daryl. He's so amazing, and it was such a lively experience. He had live music, loud music playing, and everyone was singing and clapping, and he was dancing and twirling the towel, and it was just
that's what they do in Germany.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And then we went out to the second time we had him perform for us. We were out in the back sauna, in the Russian sauna.
Yeah, that one I missed.
Yeah, and it was incredible. And so when I left that, I had said to Misha, this is what we need to bring to the U.S. When we buy our new property, this is what we have to have. And so I am hoping to go back and be able to interview one of them or both of them.
That would be great.
Before I go and meet you all for Riga and Prague and Berlin this year.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm missing Riga. But
I know. Yeah. But you just came back you were just in Spain.
I was just in Spain.
And you got to go to a couple of places in Spain.
Yeah, one place. Another place we tried to go to, but they were full up for that day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Europeans take their sweating serious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And there was one in Barcelona we went to that is called Ancient Spaces. And it's kind of like in I don't know if you would consider it a basement or the foundation, but it's all brick and pools. And I think they're more pool centric as opposed to sauna centric, because I think they just had one kind of regular sauna and one steam room, and then several pools. They had the Roman names, the Caldarium for the hot one, and the Frigidarium for the cold one. And but anyways, it was quite nice.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a completely different space than, say, the Banya or even Terme Erding. This was quieter. And they gave you when on your break you can have either water and tea or a glass of kava.
Oh,
So we had the glasses of kava. I believe both of us even had that.
nice.
Yeah, and then and you're limited to 90 minutes, which is, since they don't have a restaurant and other things like the Banya has, it's plenty of time, really. Actually, this one was 2 hours, but included your time that you're in the changing room.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you done much research on Prague and Berlin for our trip yet, or are you just letting me handle that?
Yeah. No, I have.
I was going to say, is there something major that you're looking forward to so far?
Valbali.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of the highlight one, I think, of this trip. That's in Berlin, but it has a Balinese theme.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I've heard of before. So that's sort of what I'm kind of considering the term editing of this trip. But, but I don't know it as much as I did term. I believe it's pronounced term editing. So that's probably the one that sticks out of my mind. But I've looked up ones because I'm going to be there a day early in Prague, and so I'm going to probably find one that's not on the tour.
List. Yep.
There's one called Sauna Spot that's not on your list. That might be the one I'll check out.
All right. I think it is on my list. I think there's some stuff I haven't sent out to y'all yet, just because I wanted to keep people excited and be able to throw y'all some things and maybe have some surprises.
Okay.
But and then we just had a nice day out, and I just was a naturist for the first time.
Okay.
We just did a preview for the Banyas, bought a second piece of property up in Grass Valley, and we just did a sauna tent split day.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
you did a fabulous job of organizing.
Oh, thank you. But it was so much fun to be able to share that with the group that came up and to sweat in the sauna tent.
Yeah, no, it was I really was curious about the place, and so when I got the opportunity to go, I figured, well, let me check it out, because indeed, I think it's been more than a year since they've owned the property, and of course, I guess there was a lot of work that had to be done in order even to get it to the point where it is now, a clearing of wood and such, and making a parking lot. And
there was no road there before. It was all dirt.
Oh yeah.
And all of by where the fire pit was, we didn't light it because we didn't really need it. Everybody was too busy in the sauna.
Right.
But there was like blackberry bushes overgrown, and you couldn't even get down to that level without going through a forest and shrubbery and twigs and a bunch of undergrowth. And so they've really cleared a lot of that land out. And
it looks good.
Yeah.
And so I was just really curious and figured I'd get the opportunity, and now it's going to, I guess they're really going to start working on it, or starting today, right?
Well, the builders should be getting permits any day this week, but they'll start to do whatever else they can. Supplies will start to show up and all of that, hopefully in this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it will be, I'm sure it'll be fabulous, because, that's another vision by Misha, and it will work out. You think, well, will this really work out? But he's such a visionary that I'm sure it will. It's definitely a drive out there.
Yes. It's beautiful, though. And I love
beautiful.
I love that, the windy road where you're going by all the little farms and just watching all the horses and cows and goats and sheep. It was just, it's beautiful.
And this is a particularly beautiful time of year because everything was green.
Yeah.
While I'm sure much of the year it's much the way Northern California is, and that's kind of brown once the summer sets in and all the grasses dry out and such. So right now it's just very green and very bucolic.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's so quiet up there compared to down here.
Oh yeah, that is. Well, you stayed overnight,
I
right?
did, yes,
So,
yeah.
so you could enjoy that.
Yeah. And future people will be able to stay overnight too.
Mhm.
We'll do some camp outs and stuff. Once the building's up.
Yeah,
Once construction starts, we can't really,
right.
it's not a place that we can have guests.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, it's got to be at a point where I'm sure done or basically done in order to be able to welcome people.
Yeah. I was talking to a woman who's a regular at the Banya, and she's said, I was like, well, once we start construction, and she's like, oh, it's fine. I'm an architect. You just throw a tarp over it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love her vibe, but no, that's liability for me is too much on that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But yeah, I'm excited. I still haven't really seen the plans, so I'm going to have to. I think Avi, who is the general manager of the Banya, has offered to show me the plans, so I'll need to go do that.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about being part of that community where you're there all the time is that you get kind of the inside baseball of it all.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely. I want to see what the ideas are, and I know. Well, on our tour last year, we went to Termerding, and but we also went to another place called Termerding, which is smaller, still pretty large.
Yeah.
But more of an outdoor type of venue. And Misha said, well, we can't do Termerding up in Grass Valley, but we could do something like the Termerding.
Right.
So if it's something like that, even on, I imagine a smaller scale, but that would be quite something.
Yeah, that's the plan as of right now.
Yeah.
And I'm cautiously optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of probably like you were back in the day at Frogs. Like, is this really going to happen?
Yeah.
But I also know from the stories and from my own experiences with Brodsky that he is a visionary and he is a force. He gets things done and he carries things through.
He is a force.
Yeah. It's been an interesting ride, and it's been such a learning experience for me because I've gotten to have all these new experiences and new kind of challenges to planning some of this stuff and carrying it out, but then also just being a part of it has been so amazing.
Yeah, to see this stuff come to fruition, and or at least even begin to come to fruition in the case of the Grass Valley property.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it in passing, and we were talking about kind of what we both wanted for our futures. And I was saying how eventually I wanted to have a retreat center that my friend Pia, who has a CBD company, we do retreats through her company a lot. We do like sound bath healing, yoga. We have a grief circle that she hosts every once in a while with different therapists. So we do all these kind of community healing events. And I was saying that we want to do that, but on a larger scale. And how eventually I want to combine my two kind of loves of...
Well, that would be a very good venue. I mean, even the Banya in San Francisco, to some extent, I don't know what you're envisioning, but I'm sure the Grass Valley property, when that happens.
Yeah. Oh, my hippie little ass is going to bring a lot more of that to the Banya, too.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm going to do some full moon sound bath healing on the roof. Because, if you can dance naked under the full moon and then go out dancing in San Francisco, who wouldn't want to do that?
There you go. Perfect. Yeah.
It's just a place that has helped me so much. And for my body, it has helped so much. We've talked about it a bunch. I deal with a bunch of chronic pain, and, it was just last month and another car accident.
Oh, God.
And so the Banya is like my place to go to reset. Like I say to the girls at the front desk all the time, I'll come in as one person and I leave as myself.
Oh, nice. Nice. That's really a good way of thinking of it.
Yeah, because I come in frazzled or stressed about whatever with work or friends or family. And then, you have a good sweat session and it just kind of resets the way your brain's looking at problems.
And it's just a good escape. It's from the rest of your life where you have to deal with issues. It's just nice to be away from that for a few hours, and to be able to. I like to not think too much.
Yes.
Like certain people have a very rigid strategy of going through the different saunas and such. Well, I have to stay 10 minutes here and then go to the cold plunge and then another, 10 minutes. And they have a path where they think they should go. I just sort of wander around and go where I feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, in general, it's going from hot to cold. You pretty much have to do that. But beyond that, I don't really push myself to stay in the sauna for a particular length of time. I mean, if I'm hot enough, then I get out of there.
Right.
And I'm what I would call a bit of a sauna wimp, so I don't I don't push myself there, although, and the thing is a lot of people have commented, and if you see even comments online about the Banya, indeed, those are the hottest saunas.
Yep.
And the aromatherapy, or you mentioned in German they call it Augfuss, there is literally the hottest experience I've ever had. And hotter than the places in Europe. It could be because it's a Russian sauna and with a 3-story design, and it's a huge stove. So that makes it just so hot up there. And then when they've added some water to make steam and essential oils, and then they're fanning you with these large flags, that is very hot.
Yes.
And indeed hotter than the places in Germany. So I thought, well, if I can stand that, I can stand anything. So I've gotten used to heat, but I don't really, I like to just turn my mind off and not think too much and just enjoy my time.
Yeah. But yeah, I go through it different ways and different times, depending on kind of what I need. Sometimes I'm there just to relax. And so I'm not going to push myself in there too long. And I am a super sauna person though, so I can do the real heat, and I can. I had a Platz the other day by one of Roman's friends. So Roman is a Platz master who's been doing Platzes since he was 16, and I think he's in his 80s.
Yeah.
He had his, which also I think speaks to the sauna life.
Yeah.
The amount of older on their way to being centenarians that we have. But he had his friend was visiting or was with him, and he said his friend was going to give me a Platza. And I was like, okay, great. And he's like, he's good. You'll like it. And I was like, great. And his friend asked me if I wanted it easy or hard. And I said, hard.
Yeah.
And so we went in, and he gave me a great Platza, and it was really good. His technique was really nice.
Oh.
But he was like, okay, that's enough. I don't want to push you. And I was like, oh, afterwards, he was like, was that okay? And I was like, oh yeah, we could have gone longer.
Wow.
And he was like, oh, you are a hard one. And I was like, oh yeah.
No, Roman's amazing. And, he's generally the person, because he's very happy to offer. And so when he's like kind of strict though, he said, you ready?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you got to be ready when he's ready.
Yes.
And then, it's not like you take off any time. It's when he's ready, then you go up there and make sure it gets done. I've had it done the first thing.
Yep.
Because he's ready.
Yes.
Typically, you would not want to do it that way. Typically, you would want to enjoy some time in the sauna first and then cool down and then maybe have the platza. But if he's ready, I'll do it.
Oh, yeah. Many of the times I've walked in and just as I'm going to take my shower for first getting there, he'll be like, have you been beat yet? I'm like, no, not yet. He'll be like, well, let's go. I'm like, okay, here, give me 1 second.
That's about it. Yeah. But since he offers and you have to normally pay, at the Banya to have one of their professionals do it.
Right.
So to have a professional like Roman do it for free, you got to take advantage while you can.
Yeah. And I often will try to buy him a beer, but he doesn't always go.
No.
I think that's his preferred way to sweat is
Yeah.
by giving the service, by
Yeah.
helping someone to kind of, and it's very nurturing to get a platza.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah. It's just part of the whole fun experience. It's part of the. I don't get them all the time. Basically, when Roman offers,
Right.
But it just makes it completes the experience.
I just let them film up me getting a platza when we were up at the sauna tent.
Oh, okay.
It was the first time Andre has given me a platza.
All right.
And so we did it more for the film. So the sauna wasn't that hot, but I'm hoping that this week I can get a real platza from him so I can compare the two.
He's supposed to be good.
He is a championship platza master.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was a platza master I believe in Russia.
Okay.
And sometimes when I've seen him come into the sauna, he does, which I do not recommend to anyone to do, but he'll take his shoes off and put his feet right onto the wood on the floor.
Yeah, no.
And those are really hot. And he just does it while he's sitting there in his quiet little meditation.
Wow.
Which makes me just wonder how crazy he is.
Don't know. He doesn't really speak English, so.
Yeah, his English is limited still.
Very
He's just, I think he's still new to the country.
Yeah.
But he's incredibly kind and he's very sweet.
Oh, nice.
Just, I think he's just a little shy.
Sure.
But yeah, I was learning a little bit more about him this weekend too. And I'm like, I definitely need to.
I don't know much
Yeah.
about him. Yeah.
And I think eventually he'll live on the farm.
Oh, okay.
So that's exciting.
That would be.
Yeah. I'm so excited about it all. I'm so excited about our trip. I'm so excited. I mean, we've had so much fun on our trips.
Yeah, I've only had the one.
Well,
and singular, but that was amazing. So
I'm anticipating the next.
I am too, very much so. And if it's anywhere near as fun as the last one, it will be an amazing time.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Well, I think then that will cover everything for today, Chris.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing a little bit about your love of the Banya with us.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks, y'all. And make sure you go find yourself some joy this week.